So let's talk about COVID real quick.
Sure.
Last year, we saw a host of laws going all the way to the Supreme Court with emergency injunctions, and the court, for the most part, ruled in our favor. Not every time, but they were some of the times. COVID seemed to be a manifestation, just like a way that Congress or as far as local governments said we want to encroach. And it'd be one thing to say that we're going to apply it across the board, but it was disproportionate when you have Las Vegas saying that a church that holds 1,000 can only hold 50, but a casino that holds 1,000 can have 50%. That's 50 or 500 people.
Right.
The application it's not subtle anymore. This seems to be very, very obvious. What are your thoughts there, sir?
We represented the church in Nevada from which that whole quotation comes from, and the Supreme Court took a while to get there. The first couple of tries at reviewing these cases, they didn't stand with religious freedom, but eventually a majority emerged from the court, and it's a very strong majority now, and they've made some very good rulings on that. The arrival of Justice Barrett really, and getting a little bit of time under her, in experience there, she's been terrific on this issue, it would appear, because of just counting the votes. So the court is using this comparison of other issues, and what the court has ended up saying is, if religion is treated worse than any other entity, it doesn't matter if you treat some as bad as churches and some worse than churches. That doesn't matter. But if any other entity gets treated better than churches, you've got a constitutional problem. Mm-hmm. And so now that all comes from that same decision, the Smith decision, because there it's saying when there's a neutral law of general applicability, then churches or religious people can't get any special favors, can't get an exemption. That didn't used to be the law, because frankly, churches should be treated the best, or frankly, any other First Amendment activity. Like, can you imagine trying to impose space limitations on NBC's news studio? No, you can't do that. Why? Because it's First Amendment activity. Churches are First Amendment activity. That's the right comparator. And the answer is you can't control it at all because it's beyond the government sphere. I think that the court, when we thought the emergency was very short-lived, the chances of winning big were not great. But the longer this is drug on, government had a taste of power that I don't think they're going to get out of their mouth easily. And I think that this is going to be an ongoing problem, and we're going to have to continue to fight for religious liberty day in and day out. Local and state governments, and governors in particular, really have gotten used to what amounts to dictatorial power. And because the legislature didn't pass a law doing this, they're enacting their own laws. And when a governor enacts a law themselves, our founders would call that tyranny. Article 1, Section 1 of the Constitution was deemed to be the most important in the original Constitution. The First Amendment was the most important amendment, but the most important provision of the Constitution is Congress makes all the laws, not the president, and the same thing's true at the state level. The legislature makes all the laws, not the governor. And we need to stop these lawmaking governors from ruining our lives and ruining our economy.